Now, creator of Villainous, Alan, actually dropped something on Twitter/X, posting on December the 5th on 5 o'clock Mexico Central Time. He will actually do a stream on a Twitch, and this stream you could ask him any other question. He also attempted maybe answer some of them, but also clearing up what's going on with Villainous. He will actually drop some spoilers, some twists, and also playing some games, and also drawing. On top of everything else, this stream he will talk English and Spanish. In other words, if you ask him a question, he will answer in Spanish and translate it to English after you finish answering in Spanish. Yes, that's how you gotta learn everything on his stream. So you don't speak Spanish, don't worry, Adam will speak English to answer some of the questions. Of course, to be fair, he will lean more to Spanish to English because at a certain point he started playing and drawing and talking only in Spanish. He attempted to remember himself speaking English, but it's sort of obvious because his fan base is all Latinos. He probably just speak a good 60% of just Spanish, so you miss a few things. Of course, this is the reason why I created this video, so kind of break down anything you missed or some of the questions that you want to know will probably be answered on this breakdown of the stream of Alan, the creator of Villainous. Of course, before I forget, you can watch the 4-hour stream on Twitch, or if not, you don't have an account, you can also watch it on YouTube because there are some fans upload the 4-hour video on YouTube, the whole stream, without any cuts or edits. Of course, just to remind you, he just speak good chunk of Spanish, but he attempted to speak English to answer any other questions that you just want to know. Just the sort of very beginning, he attempted to do both, but he's sort of obvious he only leans to Spanish. But other than that, hopefully this video will answer everything you want to know about the stream and answer some questions. But believe it or not, he actually released some major bombs that you won't believe why certain things is going on with Villainous. Of course, I will explain everything after this introduction. My name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation to reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, you like how it's going, you like to help my channel, put a like, comment, and subscribe. That's the only thing you need to do to help me. But if not, that's fine. If you do, thank you. Because of you, I'm getting close to my main goal of 2,000 subscribers. And yes, I'm getting close every single day because of people who like, comment, and share. Thank you. Now let's get started on the breakdown what happened in Alan's stream, the creator of Villainous. Now, one of the first things you actually finally understand how Alan promotes his own stuff, Pacific Villainous, is because he's sort of slow. What I mean is, he doesn't know how to be super technical with the equipment. That's why Alan sort of disappears and promotes unusual things once in a while, and that's why he allows his co-workers to post things that he didn't want to, because at the very end, he's not very savvy with the internet. I mean, he knows how to use it. It's the fact he's sort of very old school. That's why he sort of struggled to connect to the fans. And this is the reason why he sort of basically posts a couple of times. Not every single time. He just feels overwhelmed. Now, the second thing, and the one that kind of blew my mind, is sort of explaining what happens to Ashley Villainous. In fact, one of the biggest reveals that he actually owns the right of Villainous. In other words, that is very rare to hear. Usually, when you actually create a cartoon and go to the companies like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, or Disney, they asking, no, we are buying. This is not yours. You're selling something for us. And that's basically how it actually works. It's very rare you hear a creator owned their own IP. And Alan does own it. You're still not sure what that actually means? Well, put it this way. If Cartoon Network is just sort of doesn't want to promote any more Villainous, Alan can walk away and go to Nickelodeon, Disney, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and call them all out saying, my IP is open, who wants it? And then he continues the work he left through in Cartoon Network. That's what he means. That he has basically almost full control of everything, close to his second partner, Animation Studio. Animation Studio is sort of a company who works in Mexico who does basically animation. They're sort of kind of well known in Mexico. They're like the second or third biggest anime studio in Mexico. But besides that, to give you an idea what's going on, because Ali explained Cartoon Network is sort of the house of villainous, but at the same time they're the ones who are charged to figure out how to actually show villainous, and that's sort of the struggle, because Alan is just waiting for this part to decide when to drop the show. This is the reason why he asked all his fans to put hashtag a release villainous to understand Cartoon Network to let go the rest of the 5 episodes of Villainous. Now, people are not aware Villainous has been done a long time ago. It's that Cartoon Network, for some reason, was sort of holding out. Some of it makes sense. It's because all the continuity of the comic books and books are sort of connected to the next 5 episodes. That's why it sort of takes a little time to actually release. But yet, it took twice as long because sort of the deals and changes when actually Discovery bought Cartoon Network or Warner Brothers, and that's what the sort of the time took longer to figure out all the paperwork and how to promote Venice. In other words, it just sort of hold it after they finished all the contracts. That sort of answer one of the biggest questions why they don't promote it as often, and the reason why they don't want to show it, because they do not own it. You have to talk to the other new leaders to understand what they do with it, etc. This also explains why other Cartoon Network Mexican cartoons were released so much faster than actually Villainous, like Rey Mysterio cartoon. After the first time they released it, 2 or 3 months later, they released the other half of the season, except for Villainous. That makes so much sense because Cartoon Network Mexico owns the right of Rey Mysterio cartoon, at least part of it, but you get the idea. They have more control of that show. If they don't have a control, they like to take their time to figure out what there is their next move. Now, the third surprise that really got to me is the fact Alan revealed that we having a spin-off. And I'm not talking about the spin-off that Alan revealed last time he actually allowed him to tell what's going on with villains. I mean that Alan is developing 3 spin-off series from Villainous. All of them sort of connected a certain way to build the lore. On top of this is the kicker, the first spin-off will be released on YouTube. In other words, the episode will be around maybe 2 to 3 minutes, maybe because it's sort of expensive. The reason why, I said it before, Alan owns the rights, but he kind of owns the rights with Animated Studios. That, in other words, whatever they asked him, going back and forth, they both agree what to do next. So this is huge. But the only problem is we don't know what this spin-off could be. Could be like the first one, but this is the interesting part, that is in pre-production. In other words, it's on its way. It's sort of, you could say, sort of close to being half done. It's sort of obvious because the party is shorter than the regular show, like maybe 2 to 3 minutes per episode, maybe, who knows, but this is following a completely different character. So the other 2 we still don't know, or don't know this third one, but it will be released hopefully soon. That's all we know. It's in productions. It is on works. That is great. But this is the kicker. They kind of shock you. Alan wants to do Twitch a little bit more often to one specific reason, to allow the fans to choose and pick which things to do, like the spin-off. He said before, there is 3 spin-offs on the works. He gotta let the fans choose which spin-off you want to see first. Of course, the first one is done, probably the first one we dropped, but the other 2 or 3, because that way, that he doesn't confirm, they say 3 spin-offs, but he meant 4 or 3, I don't know. I know 1 is the works. The other 3 we don't know is connected to 4 or 3, if that make any sense. But other than that, he gotta allow the fans to decide which spin-off to do first, because he wants to do All of them, not just four choices, not to pick which one. Each one would take its time to shine to understand the world of villainous. But of course, that would take time, and the time comes up next time. Hopefully, I'm gonna do another stream and asking which of the fans revealing what spin-off is creating, which one you want to see. This about basically voting which IP you want to see next in the world of villainous. So yeah, be hype. Of course, some fans asked some questions and had an attempt to answer some of them. One fan asked that hopefully in the future the guys or the company will make what if stories with villainous like different universes or versions of Black Cat, Dementia, and Dr. Flood. Alan says no, for one simple reason. He's not really interested of that. Will be a lot of stories, but it's not gonna basically do different universes, different versions of villainous because it's not feeling the sort of compelling. But it's not fully off the table because he's have sort of conversation talking about that same idea, but if he decides to do it, that'll be probably the last thing on the list. After he finished all the different points of views of villainous, maybe he comes back to do multiversus sort of ideas of villainous. Maybe. Depends how fans are doing with the show. If they loving it, they want more, maybe. That's one of the questions a fans asked. Of course, there have been other questions. For example, a fan asked that Dr. Fu and Miss Seed that come together as one, reunite and rekindle their relationship. Alan can't respond that question. The only thing he says, maybe. He can't really break it down or spoil anything, but maybe. That's one of the questions the fans asked. Now, another question that is sort of weird but sort of makes sense is that one of the fans asked to Alan saying that Black Cat swears. And Alan just smiled, yes, but not the way you think, because this questions come from Brazil, because when they translate into completely different languages, they sometimes have to tweak or remove things because it doesn't make sense. And Alan had to explain, yes, Black Cat does swear in the show, the Spanish Mexican version of it, but some of the things they translate to English or Brazilian sometimes have to remove some of the languages, not because it's sort of offensive. It's the fact the swearing that Black Cat does is more very old school swearing, that sort of kind of a talent shit that is so difficult to understand. You have to be kind of smart what he actually says. In fact, Ali has a book of old school swearing back in 1920s kind of book that he bought on basically library, so he can actually figure out the best way to Black Cat to actually officially swear. That's something a lot of people were kind of confused because it's sort of strange because in the original Mexican version, he does swear. When you see in the English version, he kind of insults people, but he doesn't really swear. But also some people wondering, okay, why then Mexican entertainment allows this cartoon to swear, because it's meant for little kids, or not little kids, it's meant for the all family audience. And how sort of kind of breaking down is the fact is because how he swears is very old school. That is technically it's not offensive anymore. It's something you have to really pay attention and figure out how he says it. And that's the best way that Alan explains why that Black Cat does swear in the show, and the reason why some translations sort of remove or added the swears completely differently. Now, a very interesting question a fan asked to Alan: what happened to all the accounts of all the other characters, like Miss Heat's account in Instagram, and also the account of Phenombra, and also Creepy Charlies? And Alan responded, don't worry, we are still using those accounts. For right now, everybody is taking a break. But be aware, Miss Seed account will be reactivated when the book of Miss Seed comes back. When the book finally opens, then you realize the book and the account is very connected. So yes, that's sort of a spoiler if you're waiting for the book of Miss Seed that Alan not yet revealed when it can come out, but is very connected to Miss Seed's account. So be ready, a lot of breakdowns and theories what's actually happening with Miss Seed and all the lies and truths about her career. Now, another question was sort of answered with Alan is basically the fans asked that they gotta have sort of plushies or teddy bears of some of the characters. And Alan says, oh yes, but it takes a little while, a lot of paperwork, but we are trying to do something with that. Just give us some time because once again, a lot of people basically invested with this idea. So yes, it will come out, but it takes time. Now, there is another question a fan asked that kind of interests me. That sort of asked, we can have more basically Mexican sort of monsters and lore in the show. For example, the Charro Negro, aka the Black Horseman, or basically the Dark Horseman. That's sort of the reference that Black Cat sort of was inspired about the myth of the Charro Negro. And that's sort of people were wondering if they're gonna bring more monsters from Mexico in the story. And Adam responded, yes, he can tell which myth and legend will appear in the series, but there will be more appearances. For right now, you just need to wait. Now, another question that a fan asked from Alan asking if it's possible to see some of the characters from the comics reappear in the show. Only two examples that a fan asked. One, King Casino, and second, like Cricket. And Alan responded, yeah, they will reappear. But there is sort of situation. For example, Casino, yeah, they have big plans for him in the series. So yeah, be expected he to reappear. But also Cricket, maybe because Cricket is basically a completely different story because he is from the organization Peace. So he's not really connected to villainous. So there's slight chance he will not be used. So yeah, you have sort of an answer, at least if you're a friend of King Casino, he will appear once again. If you're a fan of Cricket, probably not, because he's not really connected to the main story, but who knows? Even that, nobody knows what happened to Cricket. I guess this is sort of a good indicator that Cricket is still alive, because in the comics, he technically kind of died. Maybe because it's sort of off screen, nobody really sure what actually happened to him. So take this sort of a confirmed yes, he's alive. But besides that, let's go with the next question. Now, another fan asked that it's possible to see any characters from Villainous reappearing in the game or multiplayer game of Multiversus from Warner Brothers. And Adam responded, he doesn't know because that is completely different company from the one he actually working on. And he also doesn't have any connections or anyone he knows to actually talk to do that possible. Because if Alan had a contact in Multiversus, he had probably done it a long time ago because Alan loves crossovers. So yeah, this is the reason why there probably no way chance that one of the characters will appear in Multiversus. But there is a but. You could actually ask the directors and creators of Multiversus to make this possible. Put basically one of the characters in Multiversus. You just have to ask them multiple times to actually have them a chance to put one of the characters in the video game. In other words, that's the only way to actually do it. Now, our next question a fan asks, they can actually explain why demencia did not get affected of Miss Sid's sort of love potion to fully be under her control. Alan says pretty much saying he cannot answer that question. If he answered that question, it would probably be spoilers and ruin the whole show. It's because it has a very good reason why. You just need to wait when we actually put it on the show, finally explaining why dementia doesn't have effect of any love potion from Miss Heat. Now, the final question a fan asked after they stop asking questions is the fact if they are translating some of the books to English. And Alan responded, hopefully yes. That could take a little while. It's because a lot of paperwork once again. But for right now, we only have it in Spanish. But we are working on it, and hopefully we make a deal to translate all the books to English. Of course, that takes time. You just need to be patient. And that's basically all the questions the fans asked and all the answers that Alan could answer, and also all the reveals what's going to happen next in the future. And yes, that's pretty hype. Of course, if you want to see the stream yourself, you can find it on Twitch, and the link is connected to my community tab to watch the full length of the stream. Just be warned, half of it is Spanish, the other half is English, just in case if you want to hear straight to the horse's mouth, because Alan was speaking English and Spanish in the same time. Now, also, if you don't want to go to Twitch, you also can find the video on YouTube. There's some fans who upload the full 4-hour stream on their channel. If you want to find it, there it is. Here's one account I can show you right in my face to see where to go to find the video stream. Now, anything that happened else in the stream? Well, just basic Alan playing some fan games that some fans created from villainous, some drawings, some new images for future projects, and that's it. Nothing else happened, just that sort of twist that he give out of new things coming and understanding what's going on with villainous. Of course, anything else would come up, I would do another video update or breakdown whatever Alan actually asked me any question afterwards. For right now, that's it. Hopefully that answers some questions, and hopefully we have more content. Just for right now, just wait to see what happens next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.